intelligently designed to be psychically, magically attuned significantly to the degree which non-terrestrials fucks with us, bother with us, because, you know, we're important in a, I think we're being lied to heavily kind of way, because, you know, the negative ones apparently feed off our emotional energy, as well as I'm quite certain magical and psychic abilities, which are manipulated and then utilized whenever we get excited, congregate, that it's done passively all the time, you know? I don't believe in that whole nonsense that there are no coincidences, it's all planned. That's fucking retarded. The only way to have literally all things expressed is to include chance. Now, it doesn't mean that a creator did it or didn't do it. What it means is I don't agree with the notion there are no coincidences. That's hogwash. Absolute hogwash. Because there are certainly things that no one in any way, shape, fashion, or form would ever, with a straight face, say horrendous barbarism, savagery occurring to an infant child or a sub 5-year-old kid in whatever circumstance, in some way that was an orchestrated plan for someone to have experienced. That is so perverse, deluded, and wrong. If you honestly believe that, you need to think long and hard. You need to do some shadow work, buddy, because that is disgusting. Plain and simple. Absolutely disgusting. And you need Jesus. Or, frankly, to be slapped upside the head by your mom or your dad or whoever was your parental figure, assuming you had one. If it was the foster system, shit, dude, that sucks. Sorry. I'm here if you want to talk. But, no, man. There is at least some degree of chance that exists in the mighty verse that is. Moving on. The mind believes what the soul tells to it. It is the engine of belief. And the third one, the one I've been mentioning, does the work, you guessed it, is the engine of manifestation. It is the body in and of itself. The mind believes in your idea completely, builds out the instruction set that your body will understand. You are a whole complex biochemical, electrical machine. You know, yeah, you're organic, but you're still a machine. This is a machine. People call it an avatar, people call it, you know, like, any number of things. And frankly, you need to recognize that the body does the work. It is doing everything. I am not doing any of this. It's not my soul that's magic. It is the body that's magic. That's why you see, and this is where I detract a bit, because I have a inclination that the body is not necessarily flesh. Like I said, it's all your forms. It's the astral, aura, you know, your light body, however many there are in the dimensions that exist, and however many actively work in tandem, mirror activity or behavior, and to what degree the flesh mind creates that blueprint, does that believing. But a body is required to create something, and whether or not in the higher dimensions you lack a physical form, I'm pretty sure there is a form nonetheless which will constitute and be equivalent of your body. But for the time being, I'm working in the 3D. That's what I got. That's what I'm using. This current 3D. I've used modeling and training to visualize my astral body, my etheric body, my mental body, which I believe is more an emotional body, and the quote-unquote higher self. Whatever they are, if it's strictly just an internal visualization into ourselves, how we essentially go about things, maybe. I don't close myself off to any potential theory, idea, or concept, because I am not in any way concretely, fully fleshed out on a fucking swarm of, oh no, those are birds in a drone, sorry. Anyway, I can't say concretely 100% anything. All I can say is that through repeated, rigorous testing, I used to work in quality assurance. If you're not familiar with that, you should go work for a video game company like EA and get ground into the ground and hate video games for a few years. It's great. Or work, like I got to, the wonderful privilege, a development house. I got to work for Cryptic Studios for 6.5 years. It was awesome possum. It was fucking amazing. It was grueling. It was hard work. It's any idiot can do the job, but not any idiot will necessarily do it well. And I got to benefit and fulfill a dream. That was one of the dreams I've had for, years before I even thought of getting into video games. And I'll tell that story another time, but that's definitely something that was like, this experience is outside the norm, and how I ended up with this essentially fulfilling a dream that I'd forgotten about for years. back when I was playing WoW. Man, they should make a Star Trek Online MMO. That'd be super dope. I would love to work for that company and work on that game. 5 years before that idea ever come out. And then what do you know? I got to live that dream. That's magical. That's manifestation. And it was completely just unthinkingly done because the subconscious was shifting my dimensions, creating my literal reality around me. I don't know. I really don't. I can't say that there is a rendered distance limit that I can't be visually seen, but I do know enough about software development and video game development that the simulation that we quote unquote live in, whether it's more of a metaphor or a literal similar computer kind of simulation, it doesn't really matter to me. What matters is the results. What matters is essentially what we get to do with this magical universe. And I want to share with all of you guys what I can do, tell it to you how I can do it and how I am doing it so that you can try. If it works for you, sweet. If it doesn't work for you, there's probably ways in which that will seem similar enough that you can modify, that will apply to your experiences, circumstances, and interest set. Because for all I know, you probably have no interest in this whatsoever. But I'm sure there's a number of ways that this can be adjusted for your physical state, your mental health at the time, your emotional kind of situation, because again, your emotions are significantly important. Your ego, significantly important. As well as the matter in which you want to get work done, act upon, or reality you want to manifest. I got a lot of stories about the astral, fun stuff, and the subjective stuff, but that's not something that you can really prove to anybody. I haven't had any kind of telepathy where I can talk to another kind of spiritual person or astral traveler in this reality around me. Like, I don't got any friends. I would love to make some. I would love to do some actual scientific approach-based testing of entering meditative states in different parts of the world with the intention of meeting one another, remote viewing without giving any information whatsoever on, hopefully camera or video, and then, have a witness on each side of things and do some fucking tests, man, because I know for a fact, I've heard voices in my head that were exterior to myself that were not like, go hurt yourself and shit. No. These are just like snippets, hazes. Just a passing kind of like, fragment of a sentence. Almost like when you hear a part of a conversation, you're walking outside and, just quickly hear and you're like, what? It reminds me of, if it wasn't for my horse, I wouldn't have spent that year in college. And if you're familiar with Lewis Black, you'll remember that. Anywho, the body does the work. Whether or not it is the body acting as an antenna physically, it is a combination of the multidimensional essence of you as a whole, bodies, energetic and otherwise. I can't say for certain, but what I can tell you is that those other dimensions do exist. They do impact and have a negative attribution or positive attribution depending on your model of either superpower system, magic system, or just simply visualization. I have personally created a number of what I'm very familiar with video games, skills that I've written down in my grimoire, which I told you guys to write some stuff down. I'm not embarrassed to say that. It sounds corny. It's really still hard for me to just move stuff with my mind and still say with a straight face, yeah, I have a magic book, I have a spell book, it has spells in it. It does.